Yes.
Hi, money magicians. How are you? Glad if you're joining us live, great. If you're watching this as a recording, great as well. So, my name is Vangile and I am the founder of Wealthy Money, and I help women heal their ancestral money stories so they can live their best lives. With me is Joy. Joy, introduce yourself.
Wow, I've never been on the other side of being interviewed. Hi, magicians. I was gonna say warriors because that's what I call my humans. I am ancestral and psycho-spiritual healer and an alumni. Should I call myself an alumni? Because I'm still
Yes.
continuously Vangile. I'm a student of Vangile. I have done also went one-on-one with her, and yeah, I'm still learning from her every day. Yeah.
Yeah, so Joy, welcome, welcome. So this is actually more like a testimonial video, another one. So, but this time I get to interview you. So,
Mm.
firstly, I think everybody, most people in the Money Magic group may know you. So, tell us, what exactly do you mean when you say you're an ancestral healer? But you're not an ancestral healer. You're a multidimensional healer. So, what does that mean?
Yes. Oh, yes. I must embrace that title. So I am a multi-dimensional healer, which essentially means I help people do multi-dimensional healing um, around um, metaphysical healing. I do ancestral healing based on African spirituality and world spirituality, or what we might call shamanism, so shamanic principles, and psychology as well, because that's my background. I studied psychology in university and I practiced a little bit around that. But essentially, my work is a merging of African spirituality, shamanic principles, metaphysics. In psychology, I work with what we call depth psychology, which is a modality that was started by Carl Jung, who's very
Yeah.
famous for archetypes and shadow work and individuation and how we become whole, you know? So so my work is a mixture of all these traditions because they've really influenced me deeply, and I practice them on myself, and I also share a lot of work with my clients on these many um, different works. Essentially, my whole purpose is essentially to help African people of African descent to return to their soul, to their spirit, and to work with their soul, their spirit, and spiritual guides to basically be in alignment with their purpose, their passion, and serve at the highest light, essentially, which is
Mm.
where the multidimensional aspect comes in, which is I help you remember what your big purpose is so that you can serve at that big level. Yes. Okay.
Wow, I love it, Joy. So most people are probably going to wonder, why in the world, when you are a trained psychologist, you are a trained Sangoma who has done initiation, you come from these two disciplines, what the heck, why would you want to work with me around going deeper on your money story? Couldn't you just do it on your own?
I've gotten because I'm always telling all my clients, you have to go to Van. She will help you. She's like a of principles. So it's so funny because the other day I was looking through my journal and I found a journal that I did, a journal entry in 2017. And I
Yeah.
did money, you know, and at the time I was aspiring for a specific amount of money. This was 2017, 2 years before I met you, you know,
Yeah.
and knew about money principles. I've been studying this in my work
Yeah.
for 11 years, you know, so I understood the theories of money and how money actually works. And when I
Yeah.
was looking at I realized, oh, I never really got this amount of money. And I only got it literally a month after I started working with Vangile. So, you know, so in doing the work by myself, but there was little movement whatsoever around me actually seeing that transformation happening with my bank account, with my relationship with money, how I feel about money. To be honest, I was very detached from my money. Like I was just like, oh, it's okay, I don't care. You know,
Yeah.
God will, Spirit will provide, my ancestors will provide, and they do. But
Yeah.
it's also responsibility and you being accountable for this relationship, because your guides can help you, yes, but what are you doing, you know?
Yeah.
So I just saw myself, I knew the principle, but I couldn't apply them. Like,
Yeah.
why was I apply them? Like, if I knew all of them, what is missing? That's how you came into my field and we started working together. You know, it's
Yeah.
actually been like this March, it's officially 1 year since they started working.
Ah! Okay, so let's talk about it. We actually, it's not 1 year actually, because you started working with me last May. So it's
Yeah.
almost a year. It's like 10 months. But let's talk about that, right? So
Yeah.
what was your experience? Let's start talking about when you started up working with me one-on-one. Actually, let's talk about why did you want one-on-one versus the course? Because there's people that are like, what is this one-on-one option? How is it different from the course? So tell us why you chose to work individually with me as a private client versus being a full-time student. Although now everyone that works with me also has to be a student because I've changed my coaching model.
Yeah. It's so strange because I don't actually know if I could ever do without one-on-one. I could have ever done without one-on-one. But one, as I said, I felt like I had consciously started doing money work since 2017 and I was not
Yeah,
seeing any, you know, and I felt like I
yeah,
needed something here to reflect to me really what is going on. And I
yeah,
wanted something on a little bit, you know, something that will make me more accountable, where I have to show up for those 3 hour sessions with you fully. And, you know, so I think it was more accountability that I really needed at this point in my life. So we did have
yeah,
our first discovery session in March, and we started our one-on-one
yeah,
in May. In March,
yeah,
from discovery session to our session, it just
yeah,
changed my life. I remember I just
yeah,
like, then things are happening because just these shifts were happening around how I understood my work,
yeah,
around I was not allowing money to flow through the service work, which is a lot of programming that I had as an ancestral healer, as a psycho-spiritual healer, where it was like, oh, you can't charge that amount, you know? So
yeah,
just from one, so many shifts, and that
yeah,
changed the structure of my work, and it changed how I
yeah,
was charging. That
yeah,
month, I made more money than I had ever made before, and I was like, what is happening? You know, only from one second. And I'm just like, yo, I have to sign up. I have to sign up because I could see the inner shifts. They were not just, you know, in the moment, you know, where you're like, oh, I'm so inspired. I believe in this. I can do this. Because this is
yeah,
what was before. I was
yeah,
more of this like moment-based inspiration, but not
mm,
really long-term shifts. And I had seen just that conversation, that discovery session, 2 hours or 3 hours that we did. It just
yeah,
radically how I perceived money, how I was relating with it. And I could see how if we worked 6 months one-on-one with that same model, how much a lot will change. And
yeah.
it did change
Yes,
months. It's
let's talk about the 6 months. Let's talk about straight from like your business, because a lot of people are probably thinking, oh man, I know a lot of people say to me, oh, I don't need your work, Van, because I'm okay financially. I don't spend a lot of money. And I'm like, that's actually not what I do for clients one-on-one. I up level them into the next stratosphere of what their business is, of who they are, of what they think they can achieve. So tell us about the goals that you thought that you would start in 2021, things you thought you would launch in 2021, and how you launched them within like 3 months, 4 months of working together, and it's a go. Talk about all those, how fast things started to move for you in terms of just your income sphere and your business.
No, I mean, it's so shocking to me today, when I look back, because I think I don't even know what I thought will happen when I signed up. I just thought maybe what will happen is my bank account will just have more money in it. I definitely was not expecting how the work itself will open me more to what is it that I want to do, how I want to serve. Really, it was allowing me to be more of myself, and was through releasing all those vows that I was holding, all those stories that I had about what it means to be a sangoma, what it means to be a psychologist, what kind of charges I have to have, and so on. And it was really around worth, a lot of worth issues, and a lot of like not feeling good enough and not being ready. I had that coming up a lot in our sessions, where I felt like, and I want to do like a 6 months mastermind, and in the 6 months mastermind, it's like a culmination of everything that I know that I have learned in the past 11 years, and I'll be helping women heal themselves and also claim back that light, especially the light workers and the healers who I feel called to serve. But when we started, I couldn't even say this, because I didn't know that at my core, that is the person I wanted to serve, the one who feels spiritually called, who is awakening, who is a light worker, and all these things. I discovered them through working with you. From where we will sit, be like, so Joy, why is it so difficult for you to say out loud your charges? And then we go down, and I realize at the core is I'm so afraid to be charging at the time like $750 for 3 months as a sangoma. And we will go deeper, like, hey, why is that something to be ashamed of, And then I realized I had a lot of programming around what it means to be in this service work that I do, and what kind of pricing I believe I'm supposed to charge because I'm a sangoma or a psychologist, or started my work 2 years ago. I need to have been doing this for 20 years before I could charge that. So many stories, but underneath the pricing, underneath the numbers, it was really about my stories around, when do I believe I'm ready for something? When do I believe I'm worthy of something? What do I believe I deserve as a person? And I had a lot of stories around how hard I'm supposed to work and prove myself, It was just a lot
Joy,
of those.
you've been doing affirmations and visualizations and everything for 3 years. Surely this should have changed. You didn't need me, right? That's what most people think. They just go like, no, that's it. Like, obviously it would change. But what was the difference in the coaching and how you started to see things? Like, and then you did the affirmations after the coaching and doing that work. What was the shift like?
So this is one of my favorite topics, because, affirmations and prayer and any rituals, manifesting rituals, they're so powerful, they're so profound, if they come from a space of a full understanding that you are worthy of that which you are asking of, you are already deserving of it, it is already your birthright to have that abundance, then it is more. However, many of us, we come into affirmations and prayer and manifestation as if we're bargaining, we're like proving, look, I did my affirmation, give them to me, so that's the first. And already if you're bargaining, it believes essentially you don't think you're worthy of that thing. You don't think you're deserving of it unless you have earned it and you've proven it, right? So that's the first thing. And the second thing was, it's like, the whole entire problem that I had was that my whole foundation and relationship with money was faulty from the core. From the moment when I was born, what I was told about money was not true. It was always this very foreign thing outside me that only specific people get to have, and you have to do so much to earn it, and so many limiting stories that I was holding. And that no matter how much I affirm myself at my subconscious level, I was still holding that. I had the belief system that money is the root of all evil. And you can imagine what that will do to someone who's a spiritual healer, who is
Yeah.
that work essentially to work with light, right? So
Yeah.
if I believe the root of all evil, I would not want to touch it. That's why I had like such a detached relationship with money. And
Mm.
so no matter how much I affirmed at my core energy, at who I was essentially, I believed I didn't want the money. So I could affirm all day in and out, but nothing will happen because I wouldn't allow myself to receive it. Because essentially, at basic level, I don't think I'm deserving of it. And also, actually, I don't want it. That was the thing. I didn't want money. Even though I'll be like, no, guys, I want
And,
money. No,
and people will say that I love money, you know, and I always say to clients, I'm here to tell you that actually no, whatever you think is whatever excitement you have around money, your behavior is telling us something different, right?
yeah.
So let's talk about that, because most people also tend to think that when they come for coaching with me, I'm going to give advice. We're going to sit there and it's going to be 4 hours of me teaching and giving advice. What was your experience?
Oh my God.
Imagine
What?
giving advice for like 4 hours every other week or 3 hours every other week. I'm like, huh? Full
Yeah.
3 hours I'm teaching and giving advice, never. So what's actually happening in the coaching sessions?
I was talking to a client of mine and I was telling her that it's so funny to me because sometimes I'm reading the students' stories in the student group and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, work really hard. They do these meditations every single day. And I'm also a meditation teacher, but I'm like, I don't practice it as much as all these guys, you know?
Yeah.
But I know so much transformation every week with me. One, because those 3 hours, it was an entire collapsing of all my belief systems. We will take apart everything until we arrive to the source of why I'm refusing money to come in. Or if
Yeah.
even for me to discover that I was refusing money, because like you're saying, most of us, we think, no, I want money, I want to travel and so on. But there are all
Yeah.
these little stories, limiting beliefs, distortions, programming within you that might be, canceling that desire because of also the emotional charge that they have. And you might
Yeah.
not be aware, So for me, in a lot of these sessions, we did a lot of inner journeys, a lot of
Yeah.
going within myself, beyond my mind and my conscious mind, which can promise, I want money. And we went to the subconscious mind to really see what's actually happening there. And we did a
Yeah.
lot of inner work and working with the inner child and the inner teen. And
Yeah.
even beyond going to the soul at a soul level, what is the soul holding? And also in my bloodline, what is it that we're holding as a bloodline around money and around abundance? Is there anything in my DNA that tells me not to do this? What has happened to my people that makes it very difficult for me to make money? And for me, it kind of makes sense because I come from a lineage of traditional healers and priests. So they were just
Yeah.
like very nice about money. And it was just can you come along and join? But that's the thing. There is a lot of inner journeys of
Yeah.
discovering really what is existing within you. And those inner journeys, Van is a guide. She is a guide at the museum of your life. And we get to look at this and that and discover. I think it's a discovery for you as well, right? As I'm
Yeah.
doing it, like, oh, you'll be like, oh, really? Is that what we're holding?
Yeah. Because I don't
Yeah.
know, right? Like, I cannot know. Every soul is different. Your journey to healing is different, right? I'm just thinking one of the stories, like around being visible and showing up fully, wasn't even something from the inner child or from this lifetime. We had to go into another lifetime to heal how you showed up in your business as a healer. So most people don't understand that it's not just we're dealing with ancestral stuff, this lifetime, your inner child, your inner teen. We're also dealing with your previous lives, and all those things, because the soul is so vast, impact your finances today. And most people will be like, oh wow, but you don't teach the practical stuff. I teach the practical stuff, but I cannot, your soul will not follow the practical stuff until we have healed the parts of you that are refusing to do the practical stuff.
What are these practical parts? Like, I mean, for me, everything just to place. Yeah. These practical. I was like telling someone, I was like, me and Ben did my 1 year plan on our last session. We're never like, what is your budget? I've never had that as a question. And because it, in the scheme of my money issues, that was the least of my issues, you know. Like you're saying, we are dimensional. There is many aspects of ourselves that are existing in different dimensions. And those aspects are affecting us today. You know, that lifetime, that past life that we went to, I've healed it for ever since. It is that huge.
Yes.
So my vow of invisibility from that lifetime was so huge that I really did not want to let it go, you know. And I remember I was just crying throughout that session because it was so real to me, you know. And in fact, before that session, I had done the past life regression with your meditations prior, and then we did again to do more healing with her. And still, the amount of my body was just like alive with the fear that that version of myself had. And it was crippled by it. And for me, why I wouldn't allow myself to even say, title myself a multidimensional healer, it was coming from, because like the more I do that, the more I will have to be visible, and I have to go and explain to people what I mean by multidimensional healer. Why am I as a Sangoma doing my work so differently from maybe the archetype of a Sangoma? I had a lot of hang-ups around that, you know, and those hang-ups were not just because of my childhood or my adult life or my ancestors. It was a deeper programming that went at a soul level, that no matter how much we, my inner child, my inner teen, like, because actually I think that my inner child and inner teen, they love to shine. They love the light. But my soul was like, no, we don't want to. And I did a summit called Demystifying African Spirituality. I would have not done summit if I've not done healing with you. This is what I know, you know.
Oh so my God, thank you. I love it when people say that like the healing step, because it's beyond the money. There is nothing that can light a soul up more than living your soul's purpose, more than doing what your soul is here to do. But most of us don't want to do that because, well, we're not going to make money out of it. But my thing is, there are people that can teach you how to do that. This is what I do. You know, we can put together a business model that requires ease, right? So Joy, I know you've expanded your business. You're doing epic stuff. You're even preparing to become a traveler as you build your business to do this whole digital nomad thing. Most people are probably sitting here and going, oh, the hard work that that poor woman must be doing on a daily basis. Talk to us about how this also shifted your concept of work and how you work now. Because a big thing that we have is that we believe that to make more money, and I hear people say this and it always like hits me when they like, I need more discipline and I need to work extra hard. Please God, give me the willpower. Let me stop procrastinating. And I'm just like, oh, where do I start? So please explain how actually you had a part of the lesson you had to learn was to work less hours and to allow more money in.
This Friday, yesterday, I slept like from the morning until 11, and then some point 1 until 3, And I went to our helper here and I'm like, what is happening to me? Why am I just sleeping? And I'm like, do you remember me 2 years ago? How I could never see me sleeping in the middle of the day. I used to actually pride myself for having those all-nighter nights as I was building my service work. You know, before I stepped into my call of being a spiritual healer, I was a creative coach, and I was running African Dialogue. I'm still running African Dialogue. And I remember one time telling someone like that I could interview 5 people at once in 1 week, my mentor, and he was like, really? When do you get to sleep? You know, I had that programming that to succeed, to have money, abundance, to be of purpose, you must work really hard, you know. And this is programming from my ancestry, mostly deeply from that. You know, my father comes from the Kalanga tribe, and they work really hard, you know. Like the Kalanga tribe, the tribe that passed through Botswana and ended up in Bulawayo, Harare, the Muzilikazi tribe. So we work really hard in my people wake up at 4 and they just wake up and like, what is happening? Nothing, you know? So that was my program.
Nothing is happening. I love that.
Yeah. And then my teacher, who we call Ekwabela from your side, you guys call our teachers Ekwabelas, he sees like 50 people in a day. And I remember asking him, so how do you do this? And he's like, don't worry, spirit will allow you to do this. And this I know to be true. But I remember him saying that I want to one day teach you so that you are able to do this. And everything in me was like, no. What is the purpose? Like, oh my God, I'm supposed to also be alive and enjoy myself and just like also have a work-life balance. But in those 6 months, I think the most important thing, once I understood that the blocks, the limiting beliefs, and the distortions and vows were within me, I also understood that also it means that the medicine is also within me, and that every answer for everything is within me. And part of the reason I was working all over is because I wasn't listening to my spirit, right? Like now what shifted was to learn to listen to the body, to the mind, to the spirit, because it has more information than what my mind is trying to make up, right? So I spent a lot time doing that inner work, but I also spent a lot of time listening to my spirit and what it desires, where it wanted me to go, you know. And while before I will have a vision that I should do a mastermind for 6 months, I had that. I had received this vision in 2017 and I met you 2019, and I hadn't done that because I was like, I'm waiting for when all the things have fallen into place. What things? I didn't know what I was talking about really. But I told you this, I don't know, it was 2 months into our work, and you're like, why are we not doing it now, Joe? You have the entire mastermind there. Why are you not doing it now? And really, I didn't have answers anymore because it wasn't whether I was ready or not, or if I could do this work or not. Of course, I can do this. I've been studying this for 11 years, you know? And so I stepped into that immediately. I think 4 months into working together, I launched my first mastermind. And 5 people who I wanted. And I was just the most amazing experience of my life because I love community and working with a small group of people. And also, I used to be afraid that that's not how you do healing work as a Sangoma, but like that's what my soul wanted. And now I've started to learn to listen. And abundance with ease. And it was a matter of like, now I do sessions with 5 people in a group, in a container, and they're having this support. And there's just this amazing, powerful, magical thing that happens in that container that would have never happened if I did it myself. But it's easy. This means that instead of seeing 5 people spread across the week, I see them in 4 hours and they get the same amount, if not more, because now they have this community energy all together. And so work, I can't
Let's talk about how you went from also when we work hard, right? Most of us, if we have this limiting belief around money that, oh, people can't afford, etc., or I can't charge that much, that means that you need to see 5 people at half or even like 10 times less the price. Because with you, I was just like, what if we make the price 10 times what you usually charge? Right?
Mm.
And it was literally like that. And the first thing was, where are these people going to come from? And it's just by being yourself. You don't do anything extra. Do an hour of work a day and the people will find you. But we've been taught that, oh my God, if I'm going to hike up my price by 10 times the original price, I now need to market extra, not market less, not chill out more, not go and take take time off and look after myself. That cannot be how money is made. Right? But
Yeah.
what was your experience? Did you have to go from pillar to post, looking for people, convincing them to pay, all that? And remember when you were charging less, there was, I need to convince them to pay, I need to do this. And it was like, now you're increasing, you're going at 10 times the cost. And what was the experience?
It's so interesting. When I was charging, I think $25 for 2-hour sessions. My God. In months, I think I had 20 people or something to just break even, and the exhaustion in my body. But what I remember now, during those sessions, I didn't show up fully as I am as a healer. I didn't give all of me because I felt like people had only signed up for this much. So energetically also serve at my highest potential. And then with the, and I realized, because I was like, this is the number that vibrates really well with me. It's in alignment with the offer and so on. And I got the people who opted in, they were opting into what is it that I said I wanted to offer them. And the amount of transformation that I went through myself as a healer in terms of my ability to do divination for a group of people, which I never knew I could do at the same time, but I learned how to do. I provided a more impactful and transformative offering when I was charging the amount of money that was aligned with who I really was as a healer. Because before, I never used to bring in like the psycho-spiritual, metaphysical aspects and just do a lot of like our idea of divination. Like I'll do a reading on you and I'll do maybe Akashic records, and that's about it. But like I can do so much more. So what that allowed me is, the more, it's an alignment thing, the more aligned I was with who I was and how I wanted to serve, and the more I allowed myself to share that publicly and called people in. I can't tell you how many of my students have said to me that, Joy, this is exactly what I've been looking for years, and I couldn't find someone doing this work that you are doing. And sometimes it hits, wow, that's amazing. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God. So all along, I've been so afraid to be myself because I thought people wouldn't get me or whatever stories I had. And now it's so easy. All I have to do is show up in my live streams and teach what I teach, which is everything spirituality. And then the humans come and they sign up. And it's funny because I'm no longer attached to that number, and that has released a huge pressure in my body and in my field. And so it's easy, you know. I'm just like, whoever is aligned will show up, and they often do. And that's how we're supposed to live every day. That's why I can sleep in the middle of a Friday for half of the day, and nothing collapses. But I get to serve at my level and do great impact. And now I wrote the other day that 5 of my students right now are like coaches and healers, and they're doing live streams. And it's like, I wouldn't allow myself to do this because I was so afraid. And all of this I discovered because of money work. You could never expect this. Like, if you do one-on-one, you have no idea what else is underneath that low amount of money in your bank account. You can't. It's so much bigger than the money in the bank account. So huge.
So my second last question, which is, so people are in the group and thinking, oh, I'll be great with the free work, or I'll just do the bank account challenge and I've done it. It's okay. I don't need anything more. What have you seen? in terms of just relying on that? What would you say to those people? You've already shared what you've seen. What would you say to those people?
We have to understand that as people, especially people of African descent, we have a programming, so much programming and so much history that has happened to us on an individual level, so much trauma that has happened to us, our people, our ancestors, and so much misinformation that we've been given pretty much about a lot of things that we think are normal. Like to not have money, scarcity, the way it is so pervasive throughout our continent is not natural. That is not the natural order of things. And once you understand this, you understand that you're existing in this programming, and this programming is happening at a subconscious level. Yes, when you listen to these trainings, to these conversations, you're going to feel inspired. You're going to be like, oh, this is so true what you guys are saying, right? But that is not going to do the work that needs to happen for you to actually shift completely. And that work is the subconscious work. And that subconscious work, you can try to do it by yourself. I'm a healer myself. I do subconscious work on a daily basis, but there is what do you call it? Like where you can't see something because it's you. You know, it's
blind spot.
It's a blind spot that exists within you that allows you not to see so much of the stories you're holding, the limiting belief, the vows, the contracts, the programming, the installation that has happened to you as a human being who has a body, mind, and spirit, and so forth. And to uproot those stories and those belief systems and those things that limit you. Yes, you can try to do it by yourself, but if you don't have the skill set, you know, that we're talking about, which is the ability to go to the inner self and to really retrieve back what is the distortion, it's going to be a really long journey. I am the queen of knowledge. I've read all the books, but I couldn't do it by myself, right? And I personally am not I am now, but back in the days when I was starting, I don't know if I was going to be able to consistently do the meditations by myself, right? I think I really needed an accountability partner. And it's funny because the amount of investment that I made with Vangile came to me 10 times. You know, and before
I always say to people, they should ask why I literally tell my clients they can't sign up for a third round with me. You know, I'm like, go find another coach, you know, because people are like, oh my God, your cost, everything. I'm like, the real question you should ask is why I refuse to keep taking my old clients back. You know, is why I'm like, I am good with you. Go find a new coach. I'm looking for new blood now.
Yeah, so you know, it's funny also. I do want to say on how a lot of us, we panic when we see the amount of investment someone has to make to do one-on-one work with you, and it might feel like, hey, that's money, I've never seen that. What happened to me when I remember after our discovery session, I don't know if I told you, that night I didn't sleep because when the discovery session ended, I knew I had to invest in that. And I remember I was like, how am I going to pay for this? Does this mean I have to go get a job? I actually went on Google and for creative. Am I right? I'm like, I need to be a freelance, and you know, and then my guys, they take him and they're like, this is the work already doing its magic when you calm down. And I became still. And once I became still, you know, the question of who do I need to be able to afford Vangile? What can I do today to be able to make the amount of money that I need to pay her every month? And that was a monthly conversation that I was having with myself. But the beauty of that, of me investing in that amount of money, was that I had to show up now. It was no longer games. It wasn't like, oh, I will do it tomorrow. I had to do the meditations. I had to do all the assignments that were coming up from every session. And I had to do the thing that was limiting me, which was showing up publicly and telling people what I do and doing sales, which I was like, I don't want to do sales. I don't want to tell people all my offer, they should just come to me because they know I'm amazing. You know, so that was in action. I wasn't taking aligned action. And the moment I signed up, I swear to you, I did not have that money. I didn't. I mean, I had the money to 2 months, but I didn't know how I was going to be able to consistently afford it. You know, and I consistently.
A lot of clients say that to me, and yet we always like, oh wow, I guess it just showed up. I'm like, as you do the work and you trust in the process and you do the work and you fully show up for money, money shows up for you.
Yeah, it did. Your money showed up for me. Like what was happening every month was like mind-boggling to me. Like, you know, one client paid all of the amount that I was charging for the mastermind, which was the amount I needed to pay you for the, you know, I don't know, over the second. I'm just like, what is happening? And the new amount that the first thing I had to do was to change my pricing, because I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to pay with $25 charges, you know? And so I had to change, feel uncomfortable with those new charges. But that was me transforming. That was me understanding, walking into understanding that I am worthy of massive compensation. That I do is important, it's powerful, it changes people's lives. And that was something I learned through committing to your one-on-one service work, even though I didn't know how I was gonna pay for it. So the amount of money that I had written in the love letter in 2017, I reached it 2 months into working with you, because then I was finally showing up. And I was like, so this is all along, it's the aligned action. You have to take action. And in our work, change and transformation, it does need active participation. To heal yourself, you be participatory. You can't just like, oh, I'm showing up, doing meditations, I'm gonna be good after this, I'm affirming. Not with the
and I think a lot of people don't understand that. They think that a shift is us having a conversation or reading something, and then your mind shifts a little and you feel good and you get it and you understand it. They don't understand that actually, no, that is just at a conscious level grasping something, and it's completely different when you're absolutely being part of the healing process. Which leads me to my last question. What was your experience? You do a lot of guided meditations even before you work with me. And a lot of people are always like, I'll just do guided meditations elsewhere. Like, oh, it's great. Thanks, Van, for the inner child meditations. I'll just do, and now that I know that you teach inner child work, I'm just going to go do inner child meditations elsewhere. And I'm always like, how do I explain that the money magic meditations are slightly different? Like every meditation is slightly different by everyone, right? Every healer has their own difference. But what was your experience of this meditation? Because you do also come from a psychological background of people being hypnotized and regressed into different moments in their lives. So what would you say?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I think for me, I even tell my clients, I feel like when you jump between, I'm just going to do meditations on YouTube, whichever one, I'll search inner work or something. I don't, it feels like when you go to this church and then tomorrow is that one and that one, just like, you know, we create a synergy first. But my experience, I also do shamanic journeys, right? I take my clients through this process. But when I'm doing money work, I do your meditations. I'm not even going to try to do my own shadow work aspect meditation. One, because your meditation, I mean, are coded with your frequency, your signature frequency, as someone who works with money codes, abundance codes, right? So that means that already when I come to that meditation, I'm tapping into your frequency, which instantly activates, shifts me without even me knowing that that is happening. So that's the first thing there's that. And the second thing is, I was telling you that I've never been able to do your Akashic Records meditation. There's one that's like 12 minutes. Just totally knocks me out completely, because I think that my guides Like, you're going to interfere, sleep, let's do this when you are sleeping.
Although I should interject and say, to be fair, no one can really do the Akashic Records meditations, myself included. I don't know what it is about the Akashic Records work that I do. I can't stay up for it myself. Like, very, very few students get through it.
Yeah. So, I mean, yes, when you are like a money coach or money healer, but I understand that part of the healing that you do is actually metaphysical work. It goes beyond metaphysical healing. It is us, when we come into conversation with you, when we're doing those coaching sessions and we're within that frequency, that you allow us to awaken also our own ability to heal our inner child and so on, that the healing actually happens, right? So I imagine that an Akashic Records meditation needs us to be functioning at a multidimensional. So that's why all of us, we sleep, because it's like it needs the etheric self or the astral self to do that work, not with our mind consciously getting in.
Wow. I hope that the wealthy ones, the money magic students, listen to this. They'll be like, oh, okay, now I can sleep through the meditations, because everyone's always complaining. And I'm always like, I don't even try. I don't even bother with those meditations. Recording them felt like I went into a time warp. F it. Like, they out there now. It's great. They also stress me and trigger me. So yeah.
They're working with our etheric self. So, but for me, I love them. They're so, it's true. Like, whenever I'm doing even the simple one of like not good enough, I think it's like 30 minutes. It always feels like it's a long time that I'm in there, It's always, I'm like, okay, what are we doing? And I'm always aware that so much more is happening. I don't know if that's because I'm a spiritual healer or what, but I think that this is true for everyone, because in many ways what you do create is like a container outside a little bit of our earthly experience, and we enter it and we're like out of the zone of earth zone, and we come out and we're like, why am I different? Because that's what it does to me then.
No one really believes me when I say, like, every meditation I've ever recorded, well, the students, once they've done the meditations, are like, yeah, whatever's going on in there, it's like whack. Lebogang just posted to say she's one of those people that complains that she sleeps through the meditation. But like I always say to people, I really did get these as downloads from my spirit guides. I sat down and I work with guides, and and the meditations are written out on a piece of paper, then I type them out. But like, everything just comes to me. I don't just wake up and go, I'm going to record this meditation. It's like, it comes, and it's always like hellish to record them for me sometimes. It's always like, because it feels like the 30 minutes it takes to record a meditation, or a 45 minutes, feels like 5 hours. And even though I'm looking at time, what I'm feeling within is the same thing that everybody says, that feel like it's in there. I'm like, try recording that stuff. It feels like a lot is happening. And even I don't understand it sometimes. And it feels weird. I don't like talking about it, because then like it makes it mystical and mysterious. And I really hate, believe it or not, I really don't like mysticism and mysterious things a lot, because it kind of takes away from, people feel like the power is within the meditations, as opposed to them showing up and then doing the work. That's where the power really is. It just so happens that this tool is bizarre,
I mean, like, I can understand why people will say that, but you will have to understand that the meditation itself is going to meet you at your frequency. So it is just a tool. It's just like, it's what we call a permission tool. It is through the meditation that I give myself the permission to let go of my ideas of not being good enough. But it is not the meditation that actually really got me there. It's because it's easy to work with the tools, with the rituals.
Yes.
Then I have transformed your meditation. No, you finally gave yourself the permission to heal. It is you who heals yourself, right?
And
So
the
I think
meditation is just this gorgeous tool that is somehow recorded in a weird manner to allow you to get there. And I love what you just said, Joy. Like, I love it, because I think what we don't understand is that to heal, to truly shift ourselves, it's like you said, it's an active process. It's beyond reading, it's beyond listening. It requires us to fully show up and to do that trauma work.
it does. It does. It's you know, you have to release all the obstructions, all the distortions yourself that you are holding. And I mean, the truth is that so many, and you know, it's so funny. Someone sent me a message. They were telling me that they're always listening to me talking about trauma, and they don't think they have trauma because they had such a beautiful childhood. And I was like, that's interesting, because I think that even as a woman walking in the streets, the way we feel, it's a trauma response because of safety for women.
Yes.
So much that women, trauma is not just a big rupture happening in your life. Maybe you lost someone. Trauma, basically, even being alive is a traumatic event. Like the fact that we have left the spirit world and we're here and we're trying to figure out. That's a big, huge core existential wound. But some of them are so simple, like when your mom didn't show up at the school meeting and you felt ashamed, like embarrassed and so on. That is a trauma. Like, let's not underestimate what trauma is, because even I could have went and said, oh, I've done with all my traumas because I'm a healer. I've had healers throughout my life helping me. No, I understand that my trauma is so multi-layered, and some of it I don't even know that is what happened.
And also, like we were talking about, your inner child, your inner teen loves to shine, and yet you won't allow yourself to be visible. That's because it's got nothing to do with this lifetime. You know, it's like you don't know what happened in other lifetimes. Often a lot of clients that come to me will be like, but I love this, like, and when we find nothing in this lifetime, I have to then do work with them to allow their souls to then show us, tell us about other lifetimes. Let's go there. Let's collapse the lifetimes. And as soon as they heal those lifetimes, things just start to move and shift radically. So yeah, maybe you have no so-called deep traumas from this lifetime, but do you know what else is causing the resistance and the blocks to you manifesting your goals or living your purpose? Because sometimes it's not even this lifetime. And I tell people that I have several lifetimes that I've had to work with, because the issues were not even born in this lifetime. I just came into this lifetime with those issues, and I had to, the only way for me to start releasing my vow of service and to start healing, and how I even learned about a vow of service, was from past lives. I had to go to a past life regression therapist and be like, I can feel that, man, something is not right with the way I'm not charging for my services, with how hard I believe I had to work. And then I discovered something called a vow of service. I had researched through Google. I had tried to do vows of poverty things around me to heal my vows of poverty, all sorts of things. Turns out that I had a vow of service, and my past life self had to explain what that was. As soon as I got out of there, Joy, it was the craziest thing. Like 2 hours later, I had canceled every free talk, engagement, workshop, every free thing that I was booked for. I was done. And since that day, like that was like 2014, since 2014, you don't just see me willy-nilly just fully doing free things. Yes, my vow of service surfaces a lot because there are layers to it and there are other lifetimes involved. But the core lifetime, since healing that, I've moved away from the, oh my God, it has to be hard to make money, or I need to be, the only way to be of service is to drain myself and not be replenished. So that had to heal and shift as well.
Yeah, no, I definitely, as you're saying this, for me, my core vow was the vow of invisibility, also the vow of service, really.
Yeah.
And which common for healers, for coaches, for people who are doing light work in the world. It's very common because we've been programmed to believe you are not supposed to charge for doing the work of God, but are not related. Like you can do the work of God, so be okay, you know, be fed and have basic needs on. But it's so funny because as you're saying this, I'm realizing when my core, the big one was the vow of invisibility. And the more we healed it, what happened was, even as a spiritual healer, more of my gifts came back to me, because all along I was also stopping myself from receiving my gifts and my ability to heal at other different levels. And the more I share what I really, really do, what I'm capable of, the more like the guys are like, okay, so now you get to see more. Now you get to heal more. And like, I'm a radically different healer from last year. And part of that is because of the work that I did with you. And it's so multi-layered. It's so multi-dimensional. Like, you're not just paying up for, it's great that the bank account number changes, you know? For me, I think the fact that I get to also sleep. I don't do things for free as well. I had issues with the boundaries. Like, I would give people peace, and I had problems around that in my business. And my boundaries are like on lockdown, which is like shocking to my system. And that was because it was a vow of savers. And giving to the point of exhaustion. We do that so much.
Depleting yourself.
Oh my God. And the resentment that comes first to the people, and then eventually, I didn't want to arrive to that because I really love this work, you know. And I remember on our very first session, I had this situation that I had with a client, and my whole story was, it's her, only to realize it was my lack of not saying no, I don't want to do something. And just like never having vulnerable conversations with people because you rather not, and you rather go fix it. So it's the deepest personal development you could ever do. I don't know if I should call it personal development, but like, it's so money. It led me to start doing body work, like healing my body. It led me to, like, as of now, I have a mastermind launching. And last time we had a conversation last week, I was like, then I'm going to launch a school, an online school, which is all about spirituality and teaching people. Opposite of you, I am all about the mysticism and the mystery and the metaphysics. I spent right? And to do this 2022 or something. You know, just do it. It's so simple. So thank you.
Oh, no, thank you, Joy. This has been such a pleasure. So guys, if you're listening in, feel free to quickly ask your questions right now. Let me see, how do I get to people? So if you have questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, it's all good. I will stop and you guys can ask on Facebook, you know how to get to Joy. But before we leave, I just wanted to say Joy was a one-on-one client, right? So that's not how I work with everyone. I'm only actually taking 3 one-on-one clients this year because I've changed how I work with people. I'm now flying my clients over. Oh, Joy, you logged in with another account for some reason. I see you now on your phone. What happened? So I'm only taking 3 clients for one-on-one this year. I've already got 1 spot full, so I only have space for 2, actually 1 client, but next year I'll take 4, but never ever will I take more than 4 again, because what I'm now doing is flying my clients to to the locations to come be with me, to come do, as we do the coaching work, I realize that pleasure is a huge part of this work. So I want to coach in a setting like a gorgeous villa or a gorgeous hotel on the beach, in the mountains, somewhere in Thailand, Vietnam, or Sri Lanka. So you've got options to choose from there. or the Maldives as well. So that's an option. So you fly over, I fly a massage therapist from Miami to come and do 4 hour massages, 4 to 5 hour massages a day for 5 days at a time. But you come over for 9 days and we do the whole vegan eating lifestyle. Trust me, whatever you think vegan eating is, it's not. I am a foodie, and we do the real good food. We do yoga, and then we do the inner work, right? Because it's all about, for me, I feel like healing is really holistic. So if you're interested in learning more about that, remember I've got limited spots. This year I only have 2 spots left actually. So yeah, my first client is flying to Vietnam in May. So I'm gonna do the whole ocean at like a 5-star hotel thing, and just, oh, I'm super excited, you know. So we're gonna be coaching from there. The massage therapist is flying from Miami to come to Vietnam. So yeah, I hope like everything is sorted on a global scale by then. But yeah, so then that leaves 2 clients. So I can take one for July and one for October. Yeah, so if you want to come through, let me know. Hopefully someone chooses Sri Lanka. I really love the idea of people coming through to Sri Lanka for this. And then another way that you can work with me is through the course, right? Through the Money Magic course. And there I have no limits as to how many people I take on. The course is online, and it opens for registration every so often. That's where all the meditations are, right? So literally the course is incredible. It is amazing. The one-on-one coaching is for people that want to take it up a notch, full attention focused on them for months. So that's one-on-one. But for the online, for the Money Magic course, you've got the Facebook group as support. So when you post on there and you feedback, I do like a session, like just where I'm coaching you on Facebook, asking questions, referring you to various points in the course to say, now go to this meditation. Because what most people don't understand is that the meditations are interlinked, right? So when Joy started with the vow service, suddenly the vow of invisibility came up. So when I see that from the answers that you're giving, I'm able to say, okay, let's leave the vow service for now. What's happened is a vow of invisibility is coming up, and you need to go back. You need to now go to that. And then we may end up going to a whole different meditation. So we're basically going deeper and deeper and deeper into the trauma using different tools, right? That's opposed to, oh, I just did an inner child thing. Yeah, great. The inner child meditation is often a start when you do the Money Magic work. Like anything is often a start, like setting a goal, that's a great start. But as we go into layers and layers, there's so many different traumas. And sometimes it's like, oh, this is an ancestral thing. From what I'm hearing and the things that are coming up, we need to jump to an ancestral meditation. Or maybe you need to go into the Akashic records and find out if this is a past life thing, because this is not feeling like this life thing. So this is where a lot of this is where the Money Magic work is so incredible. And if you truly are like, oh, I don't know about any of this, and I'm not sure if I can afford the Money Magic course even, I really recommend, if you are not able to stay in budget and you're overly spending, checking out the Fall in Love with Your Bank Account challenge, which is now a course on wealthymoneyacademy.com. So for all the courses, go to wealthymoneyacademy.com, or send me an inbox if you want to know about the courses or the coaching. Just comment on this video, tag me, right, so that I can see when you've commented. But yeah, thank you so much for joining, guys. I'm super excited. Joy, thank you so much. How do people find you? How do they connect with you? If they're interested in learning more about spiritual healing. So guys, if you want spiritual healing and everything to do with the mystic parts of life and interdimensional healing and stuff, definitely also look at Joy. I'm all about the money work, right? So yeah.
Yes. So what has come up for me is I am here for the light workers, the spiritually called those who are spiritually awakening and they want to understand all these things about spirituality. But it's also about healing, of course. We're healing with the guides, we're healing with all these other aspects of yourself that we've been mentioning with Ben. And so it is for you, if you are a person who is highly sensitive, you're an empath, you're a visionary, you're all this, and you want to go deeper into your spirituality. So right now I have a mastermind that's starting in April. It's called Rise the Warrior. 6 months. It's a mastermind, a group mastermind. 5 people with you, going through the experience with you. There's nothing like it. It's a really, really phenomenal. So the thing about me, like Ben, is I'm also very holistic. So we address all the things from love to, you know, ancestors, to money, to all the things. So if you are looking for a little bit of magic and mystery and the multidimensional, check out that. It's in my page, my website, joymohammed.com, under offers. And I also have a 6 months one-on-one. This one is also advanced, which is something we discovered with the Ben. It's for you if you are a practicing healer and you want to advance your modality, you want to start doing multidimensional healing and activation, and also you want to ascend your spirit, your soul, and be all in this journey of, you know, moving from the 3rd dimension to the 5th dimension. So this will be, you'll be able to understand what I'm saying by saying this. If you hit a block and you want to go deeper. Yes.
Yeah.
And my Facebook page is Joy Mohammed, Instagram and YouTube. So one thing that I do a lot is I do a lot of conversations with healers, with coaches, with, you know, sangomas and so forth. I always have an annual summit. So if you really want to understand spirituality, particularly African spirituality, we have videos on YouTube that you can check. Joy Mohammed is the channel. So everything is Joy Mohammed if you're searching for any of my work. And it's a lot of video trainings, free trainings, and conversations, dialogues within all spectrums of spirituality, metaphysics, and psychology. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you, Joy. This has been such a great session, and I think that we've all learned so much. So guys, I look forward to hearing from you. Hit me up. Let's start healing our ancestral money trauma. Actually, it's not even ancestral. It's like so many layers, our layered money trauma, should I say, and start living our best lives. Multidimensional trauma. You've coined a thing, Joy. Multidimensional healing. So thank you for joining us. I am going to stop recording now. Cheers.